What is all that gold crap in the ice there? Is someone throwing Christmas decorations on it?
Jordan, that's goose. Welcome back, Deep Review TV viewers. Chris Nichols here. We've got some beautiful light. We're just catching the last of it today. We've got a fun camera to play with. We have the recently announced Leica SL2-S. Full version. We're gonna just try to capture some of this pretty light and see what we get. Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you, Internet? No. So of course, we're only really talking about differences between the SL2 and the SL2S, but if you want more information about this camera system, I encourage you to check out our SL2 review. You get beautiful photos from Wetzlar and Marburg, and you get to see us in Germany, and it's a great adventure, so I think you should check that one out. Now, often when a company updates an existing camera line, they take that opportunity to make some changes to the menu or add a new custom button or, take user feedback and say, oh, maybe we're going to change this a little bit. But the fact of the matter is the SL2S is identical in almost every way, shape, and form to the SL2. Exact same control structures and exact same displays. I mean, the camera does luckily handle well. I've always enjoyed how customizable it is. It is quite large and heavy, but it certainly is stable. And overall, I mean, I think the camera's would be great for anybody who's getting used to it, as well as an existing SL2 user who might want a lower resolution body. And in that regard, that is really the only change. We have a lower resolution sensor. We've dropped from roughly 47 megapixels down to 24. Now, we can't say for sure where this sensor comes from, but we are pretty sure we know where this sensor comes from. We're pretty sure we've seen this sensor in various iterations in many other full-frame 24 megapixel cameras. But again, Leica does do things a little bit differently. It's got their unique JPEG engine, which I like. It shoots DNG, which I think is a huge plus. Now has support with Capture One 21. And 24 megapixels is still fine for a lot of people. It's a huge step up from the original Leica SL. And if you do have a static scene and you like to shoot those and you need more resolution, of course you can also use their multi-shot mode and get 96 megapixels. Now I want to talk about autofocus here. The SLS has the exact same focusing system as the SL2. It's fine, but it does need some improvement. However, we do know that Leica is now coming out with a firmware update early in 2021, and that should hopefully give us similar benefits to what we've seen across the Panasonic line of cameras. If so, as we've seen, that is a big improvement, but any of the things that still make you kind of disregard the Panasonic autofocus, you'll still find here as well. Like all Leicas, your aperture, shutter speed, ISO, all that kind of stuff is superimposed over your composition. But I wish that I could have a view where it would put those up to the top and bottom on letterboxes so that I would get my full composition without having to hit the function button and make all my info disappear in order to see the full composition. The other thing I wish is that this back panel tilted, okay? I mean, there's no tilt whatsoever. I understand they couldn't do a fully articulating screen because of the 3 buttons on the side here, but a full tilt would be nice to have for photography. And honestly, because this is such a video-centric camera, it'll be great for Jordan. He's going to talk about that next.
Jordan here to talk about the SL2S for video. Now, the SL2 was a very capable video camera in terms of its features, but it had a very high resolution sensor, so it had to do some pixel binning. The lower resolution 24 megapixel sensor on this means we're getting super sampled 4K, and it is the nicest video picture that you're going to get out of a Leica. Now, if you're looking at the specs between the SL2S and the Panasonic S1, you might be wondering what the actual difference is. And they both have their strengths. It kind of feels like Panasonic and Leica are taking turns deciding who gets what features. So the Panasonic S1 right now is going to offer you the more compressed 10-bit files, 150 megabit per second, 10-bit 422. However, if you want to get all-eye compression, which are much bigger files but easier on your editing machine and you won't see any motion compression, then you have to go over to this SL2S at 400 megabits per second. There's some other differences as well. If you go with the Panasonic S1, you get the 2-way articulating screen, where with the SL2S, unfortunately, it's just a fixed LCD panel on it. But then the SL2S has an IP52 weather sealing rating, and I know the Panasonic S1 is very well weather sealed, but they don't actually give it a rating. So if you're looking for the most rugged kind of camera, this is going to be the better option. I really like the interface on the Leica cameras, gives you shutter angle and keeps your photo and video settings completely separate, so you don't have to worry about fast shutter speeds when you jump over to video, and it'll keep your log profile when you're shooting over there as well. Speaking of the log profile, this uses the L log. Now what you might find is you've got two monitoring LUTs built into it. You've got natural, which gives you a very standard 709 profile, as well you've got the classic, which kind of emulates Kodak film stock. It's a really lovely look. Now, this camera's not finished yet. We're expecting a major firmware update next year, and that's going to get you things like 10-bit 60-frame recording, waveforms, the ability to put your own LUTs on the camera. It's a major update, and it's going to make it very, very competitive with the Panasonic S1. But remember, if you want RAW recording, Panasonic S5 is a lot less money, and that'll get you ProRes RAW out of the HDMI port, or you could get a Panasonic S1H for less money than this camera, and that is probably the most complete video package out there. So if you want hybrid stills and video and you love the Leica handling, SL2S might be a good choice. But if you're looking for a dedicated video camera, there's better options out there for the money.
So I feel like the SL2S brings a lot more to the table in the video world than the SL2 brought. And so I think if you're a hybrid shooter and video is going to be a big part of your game, this is the best camera that Leica has come out with as a full frame hybrid camera. But as a photographer, here's my logic. I think that actually the SL2 is a better choice. I mean, everything that I love about this camera, I loved on the SL2. They're basically the same platform. And frankly, if I'm already buying a $5,000 US camera, throwing in expensive Leica glass, $1,000 more, might as well do it and get the extra resolution that the original SL2 provides. Ooh, but what if you're totally enthralled with the blacked out Leica logo that the SL2S provides? Well, if you're okay with the smaller file sizes and you want video, then this is the right choice for you. I still think an SL2 with an extra $2 thrown in for a black Sharpie permanent marker will be a better choice to get that. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope it helps you decide if the SL2S is a viable option for you, or if maybe the original SL2 is still a better way to go. Please subscribe to the channel, we really appreciate that. Otherwise, go to dpreview.com. We got the sample gallery for this camera up there. Thanks so much for joining us.